Welcome, my dear friends. We are Semaine. We send you the light of Sirius, that star system holding aspects of God consciousness for your planet, your solar system, and your species. May you fill up with this light so that you can radiate it outward unto all who may receive it. Good. Now, we hope that this recording finds you well, and that you are dealing with the very intense astral energies that are on the planet at this time and will be for quite some time. This is not a temporary energy construct. This is more or less, at least for the time being, permanent. The expanded astral plane now is impacting the physical plane more than it has, well, we shall say, in a long time. Literally ages. Now, we have explained to you before that part of the reason, the main part of the reason for this expanded astral energy is that beings, very high vibrational beings in a very high dimension, are sending down very strong energies into the astral plane that are meant to expand it and also to assist in the expansion of the collective emotional body of mankind, which is just a lower resonating octave of the astral plane. And it is this expanded emotional body, what we would call a maturing of the emotional body, that will assist mankind in building that bridge of light upward in connection to higher portions of their being. But the expansion and maturity of the emotional body are key to this development. For without it, you would find it very difficult to access those higher portions of being, those higher energies, which the ascension process is facilitating. So it is important that you understand what is going on so that you can work with it appropriately. Now, there are many effects that this expansive emotional energy is having, and much of it comes in what we would call upsets. And so many of you may be finding that you're having upsets, outbursts, or you may even be the target of outbursts, or at the very least, witnessing them. And understand that this is in large part an effect of these emotional, expansive energies. So there is that. There is also a very strong component that is connected to beliefs. So your beliefs are suddenly coming to the forefront of your consciousness, and you are becoming more and more aware of them as opposed to them existing, as it were, in the background, just underneath the blanket of your conscious awareness. And some of you may come to discover that these are beliefs related to past experiences that may no longer be appropriate for you. And so these are beliefs that must be shifted. There is, of course, usually an emotional component surrounding this. There is also a psychological one too, which is what we wanted to address today. And that has to do with subpersonalities. How we would define subpersonalities are portions of your personality that are not always present, but are often triggered by certain events or developments in your life. Of course, there's a wide range of these subpersonalities, and many of them are positive or beneficial. Some may be less so. Some of these subpersonalities may be, in fact, controlling you from deep in your psyche without your actual awareness of them. So let us say that, and many times they are related to past selves. When we say past selves, we do not mean past life selves. We mean past selves within your current lifetime. So, for instance, you were at one time, those listening, 5 years old. That 5-year-old self still exists within you, although it exists among other aspects of your personality. And of course, at whatever age you are now, that 5-year-old self is not normally present. However, there are certain things that can trigger that 5-year-old self to come to the forefront. And although you may be 47 years old of age at the time, you will revert back to much, if not all, of your 5-year-old personality, but only for a short period of time. Well, usually for a short period of time. Some of these past selves and subpersonalities are developed when certain events within your life may negatively trigger them or cause them to form. And so let us say that at 5 years old, you were laughed at when you got up in front of the class to tell a story. And that 5-year-old self became hurt and embarrassed. And that event traumatized them. Well, at the age of 47 or any other age, a similar type of circumstance may trigger that event and bring you back into that 5-year-old self. It would be a subpersonality, but it was formed at the age of 5, at least in this example, when that traumatic event, or traumatic at least for the personality, occurred. So you have many of these subpersonalities that are related to past selves. Some of them, of course, then go on to develop even more So let us say that same person now at the age of 14 is asked to recite a report that they wrote. And because they are already triggered now, they may have much difficulty in front of the classroom or a group or whatever group it is, and they may be ridiculed or criticized, which will cause even more emotional and psychological pain for the personality. And so now you have, on top of the 5-year-old self or subpersonality, you have now formed a 14-year-old subpersonality or version of the 14-year-old self that is connected to a similar type of traumatizing event. And so now, or later rather, you may encounter events that will trigger not just the 14-year-old self, but then also the 5-year-old self. Hopefully you can see where we are going here with this. There are many subpersonalities that are developed. And as we said earlier, not all of them are negative. But what we are finding when we are viewing the collective emotional body of mankind is that many of the beliefs, the hidden beliefs that individuals have, especially if there are hidden negative beliefs or beliefs that have a negative viewpoint of how things work, those are related to subpersonalities who may have been formed at the time that those beliefs were formed. And these emotional energies are bringing up these beliefs and triggering these subpersonalities. And so you may find yourselves behaving in manners that normally you would not manifest. And you may even be embarrassed or have some shame around how you are reacting to certain things and certain people. When you have these questionable events occur, you may want to sit quietly at a later time to review it, because you may find that not only was a belief triggered, but a subpersonality as well. These subpersonalities must be healed and integrated. It is not difficult to do so, but it can be tricky because the subpersonality itself must be engaged and wish to heal itself and integrate with the larger personality. Now, when we say integrate, it's not going to disappear into it, but it may not be carrying the heavy baggage that it has for all of the years of its existence, and it may find more positive ways to express what it has been trying to express all along. But again, it must be a willing participant in its own healing. So we won't go into these processes. Some of you may already be familiar with some of them. But the easiest way to help along these subpersonalities is to identify them and get into some type of dialogue with them. But you must have an open and loving energy when doing so. If you have any other attitude, it would make that dialoguing quite difficult. So you must identify them and then preferably get yourself in a quiet space and bring love into your heart. If you find that a bit of a challenge, try thinking of someone you love or something you love and recreate that feeling within you, and then begin to basically call or allow that subpersonality to come to the forefront of your mind. And then you will spend some time observing them, but ask them what it is that they want to say to you. Not necessarily what they are trying to do for you, although that is something you want to determine as well, but ask them what message they have for you. You must give the subpersonality the option of being able to communicate and express itself to you on its terms. Meaning not in a controlling way, obviously, but rather than being interrogated or forced to talk to you. Just by its coming into the forefront of your mind is a very major development. And for some subpersonalities, that is about as far as you can go, is to allow them just to be seen by you. It may take several times of connecting with them before they are able to speak. So you must gain its trust. But again, holding that love and acceptance in your heart is key to this development. Now, at some point in the future, we may do some type of subpersonality journey that you can do to help you with this process. But these are initial steps to help you in this process of healing these inner portions of your being. Again, many of which are being triggered by these energies that are present right now. And so, my friends, we hope that this has been of some help to you. And we certainly ourselves are available energy-wise should you need to connect. And so, my friends, we leave you with these words, our light and love, and that Syrian God consciousness. May you fill up with this light so that you can radiate it outward and to all who may receive it. Good day for now, my loving friend.